Today, me and my wife Deb were doing this guest spot on the Marriage Underdogs podcast by Chris A. Matthews, which I highly recommend, by the way. And we sort of camped on this work-life balance for busy professionals thing. So I decided to not wait another day, but record an episode on the 5 rules for work-life balance and the one thing that changes everything, but most people don't talk about. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to Headspace by Christian Ray Flores. My rule number 1 for work-life balance, that is if you're married, is that your marriage goes first. I can guarantee you this one thing. If you're married, the person you marry will determine the very course, the quality, and the trajectory of your life. So it needs to be at the very center of concentric circles of priorities. We have a sync up time every week. It's dedicated to essentially syncing up our plans, our priorities, calendars, things like that. We have a date night. We never miss a date night. We go out, we usually watch a movie, go out to dinner, or do something else, but date night is sacred, is holy. It's most of the time on the same day, and it's every single week. We go to bed at the same time every single night with very, very, very few exceptions. And we do that to sort of be on the same page, to cuddle, we read a book, maybe we unwind, and we have a weekly Sabbath day. Every Friday night to every Saturday night, we do not work, we relax, we enjoy our friends, we enjoy sleep, we enjoy each other. It is this breathing, recharging, filling ourselves up time. If you're the man in the house, a note to you. The things that I just listed, if you want to implement any of those things, you need to make those things happen. Just trust me on this. My second rule for work-life balance is have a family vision. Where do you want to go? How do you want to get there? On the weekly sync up, that means this micro level thing, right? You know, sometimes if you don't think about it, you overinvest in some things and you underinvest in others. So a very simple hour and a half sync up time. Hey, where are we going? How's our calendar looking? I also recommend a maybe bi-monthly or quarterly getaway. So get away for 2-3 days, go somewhere nice, and just spend some time together dreaming, going on a date, relaxing, but also dreaming up about how our vision is evolving, how our understanding of it is changing, because it does. Something you said 6 months ago or a year ago, and you meant one thing, it actually means something different 6 months, 9 months later. And these sort of micro corrections and quarterly corrections all together, they add up. My third rule for work-life balance is that your children don't need presents with a T as much as they need your presence. And again, I'm talking to the guys. If you're a provider, be a provider. You have to be a provider, of course, but not at the expense of presence with your children. Somebody came up with this statistic. I haven't double checked it, but it sounds about right. And it's sobering that we spend 19 years total with our children. 18, they're in the house. And the 1 year is the cumulative amount of time that you spend with them during the holidays, when they come home, after they leave the house. That is just really, really sobering. So while you have them in the house, delight in them, spend as much time as possible with them. I haven't missed one significant event in my 3 daughters' lives ever. And for a busy professional, for an ambitious guy like me with multiple businesses, nonprofits, this was quite an ordeal. And it's a decision, it's a foundational decision that yes, I'm going to actually achieve less, make less money, make less of an impact to be more present with my children. And that is a very conscious, intentional investment. And it's absolutely worth it if you really want that elusive thing that we talk about when we talk about work-life balance. One thing that was unique between me and my 2 youngest daughters, the oldest one was a bit too old to be interested in it, is these nighttime stories. I would sit down with them at night, put them to bed. I'll say a prayer with them, but then I'll tell them a story. Not read a book, but I will actually make up a story. So there was this whole adventure series called The Adventures of Christopher and Olivia. And every night they would go to bed to a new episode that was created just for them. And they never forgot it. We actually recorded them, and one of my kids has basically promised that she would make a book out of it. So creating these magical moments of connection with your children. These things never go away. These are treasures that stay with you forever. Now, eventually they leave the house. And when they leave the house, You call them, you have coffee with them, you treat them to things, you help them out financially, you keep up with them. All of my 3 daughters are out of the house, and the parenting does not stop. I promise you this. My children need my presence both when they're in the house, and they also need my presence. In a different way, you sort of shift to coming alongside of them and being more humble and less directive, but really more of a helper and an advisor, especially for the guys. And the guys, I think, are the first ones to forget it and sort of dismiss it or minimize it. And I want to lean into the guys during this whole video. So, it is what it is. My rule number 4 for a great work-life balance is this. Stop getting paid for the time you spend on things and start getting paid for the value you add to organizations. And yes, I know it's not easy. Whatever it takes. Acquire new skills, change your business model, develop some assets, find what you can leverage to do that, but buy back your time, because your time is infinitely more important than money. Because some things you want to do for work actually bring less revenue, but you're equally passionate about those things. So I have a marketing business, a coaching business, I have philanthropy work that I do ministry work, and I'm able to do all these things because I focus on adding value rather than saying, here's an hour of my time, this is how much it costs. My rule number 5 in work-life balance is that future you have imagined, those plans that you have, they're just a rough sketch. They're not reality at all. I can't tell you how often I have thought everything through in my mind, and I'm so excited about a project, and somebody comes along, a mentor, a coach, and says, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? And by doing so, they paint a much more accurate picture, and they're saving me time, money, frustration, anxiety, disappointment. This is why when I coach people, I have them in small cohorts, because it's not just me filling in that rough sketch, it's people helping each other. If you want to go deeper into this, you can get access to a free masterclass at Xponential.life that goes into other dimensions of how we help people grow and build a better future. And now to the one thing about work-life balance that most people don't talk about, hardly anyone talks about, and that is, drum roll, that there is no such thing as work-life balance. I think the term is flawed because it makes us think of like 2 wings on a plane that need to be balanced to fly right. But in reality, work and life, they overlap. They coexist, right? They are interdependent like this. So I think the pursuit, and it's really important to understand what you're pursuing, is the pursuit of integration, harmony, and flow. And if you think of work and life in those terms, I think you're going to end up designing a very different life, a very different future. Please give us a thumbs up. I think it's good for the algorithm. Send us some comments wherever you are of what you want to hear next. And I'm going to leave you with a video that actually is related to this. It's my conversation with my buddy Brandon Nicely, where we talk about designing this amazing life where we can have much more impact without sacrificing family, love, harmony, and joy. Watch this next.